Off Campus Season 2 trailer just dropped, and we seriously need to talk about this because Hunter might have just changed everything. Hunter Davenport was never supposed to be this dangerous. At first glance, he just looks like another complication in Dean and Allie's already messy relationship, but I think Season 2 is about to reveal that Hunter is not entering this story to steal Allie away from Dean. He is entering it to destroy the version of Dean that has survived for years behind charm, confidence, and control. Because what makes Hunter terrifying is not the fact that he slept with Allie. It is the fact that he knows exactly who Dean really is underneath the performance, and the moment someone like that walks back into your life, pretending everything is normal becomes impossible. The ending of Season 1 already hinted at this shift. Dean looked shaken the second Hunter appeared, and that reaction mattered more than people realized. This was not jealousy. This was panic, real panic, the kind that only appears when someone from your past knows things about you that the rest of the world never got access to. And if Off Campus Season 2 follows the emotional structure of the original story, then Dean's life is about to spiral in ways far worse than fans are expecting. The most important thing to understand about Dean in Season 1 is that he survived by controlling perception. Every version of himself that people saw was carefully constructed around his teammates, inside the team dynamic, inside Allie's emotional orbit. Dean cannot escape him because Hunter's existence alone forces him to relive parts of himself he has spent years suppressing. That is why I think Season 2 will slowly strip away Dean's emotional armor piece by piece. And honestly, the most dangerous part is not even Hunter himself. It is what Hunter represents. Because Dean has always been someone who stays ahead emotionally. He jokes before things get serious. He flirts before vulnerability appears. He leaves before attachment becomes dangerous. Everything about his personality is designed to maintain distance. But Hunter disrupts that system because he introduces uncertainty into Dean's life for the first time in years. Suddenly, Dean cannot predict Allie's feelings. Suddenly, he cannot control the emotional atmosphere around him. Suddenly, he is no longer the most confident person in the room. And when someone builds their identity around emotional control, uncertainty feels like suffocation. I also think Allie is going to notice this shift faster than anyone else. That has always been her strength. She reads emotional patterns almost immediately. She notices cracks before other people even realize they exist. But the tragedy is that Allie herself is What makes this storyline brilliant is that Hunter does not even need to actively destroy Dean. Dean will start destroying himself. That is the real tragedy forming underneath Season 2, because people like Dean often believe confidence protects them from heartbreak, when in reality it only delays it. And once that protection finally cracks, everything underneath comes rushing out at once. I think we are about to watch Dean become more impulsive, more emotional, and far more reckless than he has ever allowed himself to appear before. Not because he suddenly changed as a person, but because Hunter forced him into a situation where pretending no longer works. And the scariest part is that Allie may not fully understand how deep this goes until it is already too late. Because Dean has spent years perfecting the art of looking okay while internally falling apart. But Season 2 is placing him into circumstances where emotional damage cannot stay hidden forever. Eventually, something breaks. Eventually, the mask slips. Eventually, somebody sees the version of Dean that exists underneath all the confidence and sarcasm. And I think Hunter Davenport is the person who forces that collapse to finally happen. What makes the second half of this story so dangerous is that Allie is eventually going to realize something she has been trying very hard not to see. Dean's feelings were never casual. Not really. The confidence, the flirting, the jokes, the effortless attitude, all of it created the illusion that Dean could walk away from this relationship whenever he wanted. But Season 2 is probably going to expose the opposite truth. Dean is not emotionally detached anymore. In fact, I think Allie is about to discover that he has become emotionally dependent on her in ways that even he does not fully understand yet. And once that realization becomes visible, the entire balance between them changes. The problem is that Allie does not trust intense emotions. She analyzes them instead of surrendering to them. That has always been her defense mechanism. She likes understanding people because understanding gives her control. But love does not work like that. Real feelings create unpredictability, and unpredictability terrifies her. So when Dean starts reacting emotionally to Hunter's presence, I think Allie's first instinct will be to pull back instead of leaning closer. Not because she does not care about Dean, but because caring about him now comes with consequences that feel frighteningly real. Suddenly, this is no longer a fun relationship with chemistry and tension. Now there are stakes attached to every interaction, and honestly, Hunter's role becomes even more complicated here because he unintentionally gives Allie a comparison point. For the first time, she gets to see the difference between follows the darker emotional direction from the books, then Dean is probably going to make several destructive choices while trying to hold on to Allie. That is the irony of his character. The harder he tries to control the situation, the more unstable he becomes. Jealousy changes people, especially people who are not used to feeling powerless. Dean has always been the person who enters a room already knowing he can win people over. But Season 2 introduces a scenario where confidence alone is not enough. Allie's feelings are complicated now, her fears are complicated now, and Dean cannot solve emotional insecurity the same way he solves everything else.